When I left high school, I actually had no idea what I wanted to do. I had a couple talents in some various things, but no exact idea what I wanted to do, nor was I prepared to step foot into the real world. Maybe give the military a chance, maybe see what the military is about, and maybe see if you might fit in there. I went and I saw a recruiter. I think immediately I was just drawn in. I think between the camaraderie, between the structure, and between having some mentors and some leadership involved in your life really drew me to joining the military. Along with the military, as well as I learned how to be a leader. That's what really drove me in the military. And I take that with me when I think about leadership and when I think about what I'm currently doing in my career and in my life. How can I incorporate what I've learned and all the lessons that I've learned through the military and through interacting with others, being around the world, having a sense of globalism. They had a whole center dedicated to military personnel. And so I came in, I talked to them, we were able to get my benefits certified, we were able to get me certified, and I was able to start taking classes. Once I started taking classes, I decided I wanted to go into criminal justice because that was sort of in line with what I was doing. Military-wise, in Afghanistan, I was doing force protection, which was protecting the military bases. Then when I came here, I was working in a nuclear facility, which is also protecting a government base, essentially. Criminal justice just felt like it was in line with what I wanted to do. In high school, I was absolutely terrible at math, at science, particularly biology and chemistry. So I had very little interest in taking any of those classes. I ended up taking the non-majors version of those classes for the Associates in Arts degree. And I actually became quite surprised at how interested I was in that field, and specifically in the field of biology, but I also liked chemistry. And that drew me to maybe reconsider what I wanted to do in my future. But being here at College of DuPage, being able to focus with a professor in a small to medium-sized classroom to really give me the attention that I needed to help overcome some of these self-imposed barriers that I had. That first round of professors I had will always have an impact on my life. Thomas Jarrell Hardy, Professor Julie Gibbs, Professor Karen Persky, and Professor Jim Ludden. I went with him to a field excursion in Canada, and that was a study abroad trip to which I actually won a scholarship to take that course. We were doing an introduction to animal biology course, wildlife biology. And it was extremely fun. We were out in the field, we were out rucking. I felt like I was in the military again, essentially. We were out in the field every day, getting dirty, getting muddy, and it was a really great time. But in between rucking and having our classroom times was some personal time to talk to Jim. And he encouraged me to go as far as I could with my education at that point. If I really wanted to stay in the science field, to go as far as I can, potentially get a doctorate degree, and make a career out of it. In 2020, I was pushing towards the tail end of my senior year at UIC. I was close to graduation. I only had one semester left at that point, and that's when the global COVID-19 pandemic hit. But UIC went to shutdown mode. The clinical research that I was currently doing went into shutdown as well. Project Wish, the clinical research site, actually became one of the clinical centers for the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine trial. And when that happened, they called everybody back up and said, hey, come on in, we need you now. And when that ramped up, I came back and we switched over from working on HIV to working on COVID-19, still infectious disease, still in my passion and still very much in line with what I wanted to do. I had to learn a lot about COVID-19, just as everybody did. But I had to learn a lot about COVID-19 because there was going to be a lot of questions. We were going to be working directly face-to-face with everybody that would be involved in that trial. With that, I got a chance to enhance my own education by getting involved with these studies and learning more about the greater aspects of not just COVID-19, but also about public health and the response that we were going to take. I was also asked to help with a couple of the different intervention projects that we were having that were partnered with the Chicago Department of Public Health. One of which was the COVID-19 Rapid Response Team, which was a team of voluntary clinicians that would go out to the community and start doing COVID-19 testing on vulnerable populations. So I was doing that simultaneously while also being on the COVID-19 Moderna trial. While I was working on those 3 simultaneous projects, I was also doing my master's in public health at Boston University. It was an executive online program. Once I finished my master's degree in public health, I decided that maybe I want to take my career to the next step. I took a look at Northwestern University, and they were looking for a clinical operations manager. Maybe I could put my hat in the ring and see what happens. And it just so happens that they were interested. They brought me over, and I am in a different form of management. I'm working on a gigantic project that bridges 10 clinical facilities and is sponsored and partnered with the National Institutes of Health.
It's an amazing feeling to know that Adrian is doing well in his chosen field. I feel very honored to have had the opportunity to work with him as a student while he was here at College of DuPage and beyond. So when we talk, I'm very proud of him. Our entire department is proud of him, and so we are very fortunate that he keeps us in the loop of his developments and his career aspirations.
College of DuPage played a large role into helping me get where I currently am. They were my start. They were the initial phase of my education, my higher education. And it was the first time in my life where I got to put education into actual field use, by getting to go out into the field, by getting to get involved a little bit more outside of the classroom, and by getting to get to build relationships with people who are actually already where you want to go, and turning around and asking them to help you, to mentor you, to point you in the right direction. I think College of DuPage was the first place I was able to do all that. It was the first place where I was able to speak to somebody that's already been through higher education, ask them, how did you get here? What do I have to do to get here? And I got some good guidance from all those professors that I listed, and also from talking to my peers and learning that, hey, this guy comes from a long line of doctors, or this guy comes from a long line of pharmacists, or this person comes from a long line of dentists. That there are people out here who do aspire and achieve the things that you want to. And maybe you should get to know them and get to learn how they did it, how their family did it, and maybe you can figure out how you can incorporate that into your life. And so College of DuPage gave me that first chance. It gave me the first chance to interact with people, to interact with professors, to interact with professionals, and to really understand, hey, there is a whole nother world out there, and if you want it, you're gonna have to work hard, but you can go and get it. So that's what I learned here at College of DuPage.